Hey guys, how's it going? It is Itachi here again, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you a quick tutorial on how you can install the mod menu for Modern Warfare 2 Remastered on the PlayStation 4. Now it is fairly simple, but due to the fact that I am on the 9.00 firmware, there are just a couple hoops we have to jump through to get this to work. Now it's not difficult at all, so there are 4 things that you're going to need. Number 1, you need of course a jailbroken PlayStation 4. Number 2, you are going to need the mod menu itself. Number 3, you are going to need the PlayStation 4 ToolBox V2 by Death RGH. And number 4, you are going to need the 9.00 version of the PlayStation 4 Debug Payload. And now, of course, all of these downloads will be in the description below, as well as the Twitters for both the creators of the mod menu and the toolbox here. So let's get into it. So initially, the first thing you have to do on your PlayStation 4 is jailbreak it, of course. And I am going to assume you know how to do that. Now, within the settings menu here, come up to Gold Hen and scroll down to the Enable Bin Load Server and enable it. Now, make a mental note that it says it is listening on port 9090. That is important, and you will see why in a minute here. And if you also do not know your PlayStation 4 IP address, just come down to the system settings here, come into system information, and then you will see your PlayStation 4 IP address right there. Now, you will not have an IP address unless you have an internet connection coming either through Wi-Fi or through a LAN cable. So you need to have an active internet connection coming through your PlayStation in order to do this. Now just back out to the home menu and we will hop on the computer. So the first thing I will do is I will extract both the mod menu as well as the toolbox right to my desktop here. And as I said, it is a very straightforward process, but there are a couple hoops we have to jump through here. So first off, I want to mention here inside of the mod menu folder, you will notice that there are 2 different options here. Now, they are both identical. The only difference here in the 1.01 version, there is a screen dimension fix that has been added to the mod menu here. So this is just a fix for that. And because I was having this issue, this is the one that I will install. But I might recommend you install the 1.0 version initially, and if there are any problems, just switch it over to the 1.01 version. So what we have to do here is, I will first show you here the PlayStation 4 toolbox. So this is the folder here, the toolbox folder, and if you scroll to the bottom, you will see the PlayStation 4 toolbox v2 exe file. So we will go ahead and run this. And here we go. Here is the PlayStation 4 toolbox. Now there are a few things to note here. This is where your PlayStation 4 IP address will go, and this is where the bin loader port 9090 will go. And now if you notice here, this will send a payload and it says 5.05. Now we are not on version 5.05. So in order to change this, if you were to come to settings in PS4 firmware, you will also notice there is not a 9.00 option within the toolbox here. Now this is the hoop that you have to jump through here, and it is very simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out of the PlayStation 4 toolbox and go back into the folder here. So within the folder, if we come back up, you will notice there is another folder called Payloads. And if we come into this folder, you will notice that these are the 3 firmware options available within the toolbox. And each one of these folders here has its own PS4 Debug Payload. Now each one of these, of course, is for its respective firmware. So all we have to do is change this PlayStation 4 debug with the one that is on our desktop here. And so I will go ahead and do that now. And we of course want to overwrite. So we will replace the file, and just like that we have our 9.00 PS4 debug.bin. Now I put it in the 7.02 folder because I myself do own a 5.05 jailbroken PlayStation 4, and so I am able to use that debug option when using my other PlayStation. So now when we launch here the PlayStation 4 Toolbox, we will have no issues, and so we would then come down to Settings, PlayStation 4 Firmware, and we would select 7.02 or whichever folder you put the 9.00 PS4 Debug Payload into. And for me that was 7.02. I will select that, and you can see up here this little option changes. And so now, while we are still on the home screen of our PlayStation, we are going to input our IP address and our port number here, which was 9090. Now I will show you my PlayStation 4 home screen right after I click this button here. And if done correctly and you have your IP address in, your port number correct, and you have the correct payload here, even though it says 7.02, it is for 9.00, you will see a notification come up on your PlayStation telling you that the PS4 debug has been received. And I will click that now. And as you can see, it says payload received, and there it is, ported to 9.00 by Caro. Now all we have to do is launch Modern Warfare 2. And the process from here is very straightforward. Now, if you were on a firmware other than 9.00, say 7.02 or 6.72 or 5.05, then you wouldn't even have to use this PS4 debug that is included in the description because it was already built into the toolbox here. And so now that we are on the main menu here of MW2, we are going to come back to the computer and I will show you what is next. So the next thing that we have to do is come right over to this processed list button here, right next to the payload sender here. So we are going to click this, and you will see a number of processes here will pop up. Now the one that we want is already highlighted here, default.elf. So we come down to attach to default.elf. Click on attach. And you know, I do wish there was some sort of notification on the PlayStation to let me know that I was attached, but on the bottom right here you can see that we are attached to the default.elf. And so the next thing to do is to come up to this option here that says console tools, and we will come down to the elf loader right here. Now all we have to do is click this little folder icon here, and we just have to find where our mod menu is. Now it is not this one. It is the one on my desktop right here, and like I said, I will be using the 1.01 version, and there it is. So I will then click open, and as you can see, it's all in right here, and all we have to do next is click on load. And just like that, we have injected the modified elf into the default.elf that is allowing us to use this mod menu. Now, nothing will show up on the PlayStation 4 toolbox telling you that the injection was successful, and nothing on the PlayStation 4 will give you any indication that the injection was successful, but you just have to know that if you did all the steps correctly, that you did successfully inject the mod menu. So what we're going to go ahead and do is just, I guess, click resume game. And we will load up here, and we should, in theory, have the mod menu. And now that we are loaded in, you can see, of course, we have the mod menu. And here we are. And there it is, and it does look like that it is fitting our screen correctly here. So that is pretty exciting, but as you can see, we have the mod menu installed on the PlayStation 4 Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered. Now, if you were at all curious, I'm sure if just by using the menu you would know, but you can turn off the do heart as well as the menu instructions, so you can play the game without having that menu instructions and do heart right in the way there. But as you can see, we are in and we have full access to the mod menu. Now, I hope this tutorial was helpful and informative, and if you thought so, I would really appreciate it if you could drop a like, subscribe, and if there's any topics or videos that you would like me to cover in the future, please let me know either in the comments or on Twitter. There are plenty of videos and tutorials to come. I'll see you guys in the next one.